Way it went, and he finally has to mark the hand. Greg Brooks taking down another pot. He extends his chip lead.
Greg Brooks played as a pro player for about 4 years. Took some time off to go back to the business world. He's come back, and he is dabbing it right now.
This week, I was fortunate to sit with the legendary Phil Ivey for a very special two-part edition of 5 Questions. Part 2 will air in the next episode. Right now, here's part 1 in this week's edition of 5 Questions. You're regarded as the best poker player in the world. Who's the second best?
That's a trick question. There's a lot of really good poker players right now. I mean, I can't really say who the second best poker player is. There's just so many tough players. Patrick, Gus, Doyle Brunson, of course. Even to rank me as the best, I know I'm a really good player, and people feel that way. But I just kind of I don't really ever really think about that.
It took you 8 final table appearances to finally capture your first WPT title. How did it feel to take it down here at Commerce?
You know, once you start making these final tables and you don't win, you start to feel negative and get a little dejected sometimes. You start thinking, wow, man, am I ever going to win? And it took me 8 times to win. But, I like winning, as most players do. So it was nice to, get that one out the way.
Outside of poker, what other projects have you been working on?
I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a Phil Ivey Poker Academy school. I was just kind of joking around with a friend of mine about doing it. He said he thinks it's a great idea. And I didn't really think that I could teach poker. I didn't think I'd really be too good at it. So one day I just kind of tried it. I was playing online and, just put a little camera behind me. I was just discussing the hands and how I was thinking. And it actually turned out to be pretty good.
What are some of the mistakes poker players make at the table?
In a tournament, wow, players make so many mistakes. I would say they get frustrated and they end up putting all their chips in the spot. They play for 3-4 days and then they have these monster blow-ups and they end up making really, really bad decisions. It's just like they're happy to get to the 3rd or 4th day and then they just kind of give it away. You just need to be patient, I think, especially down towards the end.
You have a lot of respect for poker's history and your predecessors. Where do you see yourself fitting into that equation?
Well, I have a long way to go, hopefully, before I'm poker history, so I'm still very motivated. I love to play, so hopefully in time, I'll have all the records and, history will speak for itself.
Well, there you see Greg Brooks trying to win his first WPT title right here at the LA Poker Classic, just like Phil Ivey did.
He's well out in front, 7.4 million. Greg Brooks. Just an amazing effort here tonight. Down to the money pit we go. Amir Lehavot going away. Steve Gross also out.
Oh, now Carlos has picked up a big hand. He's got 2 queens this time.
Oh, Olay. He makes it 150,000 to go. Vivek Rajkumar going to take a break.
Well, Darryll Fish looks down at Queen 10 of spade. We've seen him 3-bet a couple times a night with garbage hands. He got punished both times for it. He's going to get punished here if he tries it again, that's for sure.
Oh, boy, swim, Fishy. Swim when you can.
Come on.
Oh, he's going all in.
Well, he's gone in all over the top.
Greg out, and of course Carlos has to call with the queens. And the Fish is in a lot of trouble.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
He is on the hook, and he is squirming.
Well, this is the 3rd time he's tried this play. This time, at least he's got some kind of hand. He knows Carlos doesn't have to have anywhere near 2 queens to raise on the button in that spot. Unfortunately for him, he's in dire straits here. But a 10 comes right on the flop. So at least he's alive to win the pot. Must catch a 10 to do it.
Yeah, the Fish has possibilities here as he looks up to the heavens.
Well, an ace comes off on the turn. The Fish on the hook in a big way. Can he squirm off? Gonna have to catch a 10 to do it. 6 comes off on the river, so that's gonna do it for Darryll Fish. Every time he tried to make a move, he got slapped on the wrist. This time, he got booted out of here.
Yeah, bro. Good luck.
So Darryll Fish out tonight in 6th place.
Yeah, he'll take home $235,000. He gave it back to Carlos the Matador. And now he's talking to our side-live reporter, Matt Savage.
D-Fish, you never really got anything going tonight.
No, it was kind of slow. Tried to look for some spots to re-raise and pick it up pre-flop, and apparently ran into some hands. Moved it in, tried to get a re-steal on Carlos because I assume he's going to be raising a lot there, and he happened to have a hand that had me in pretty bad shape. So no regrets, really. I did my best, and that's all you can do, really. So.
$235,000. We're going to see you at some more World Poker Tour events.
Yeah, you just might. Yeah.
Congratulations.
And with that, Darryll Fish is out in 6th place. When we return, Tony Dunst will tell us how it all went wrong or just didn't go right for Darryll in this week's edition of The Raw Deal when the WPT's continuing coverage of the LA Poker Classic, brought to you by ClubWPT.com, returns in just a moment. Welcome back to the World Poker Tour, brought to you by ClubWPT.com. Before the break, we saw Darryll Fish try to push a player off a hand for the 3rd time and fail. Was he playing a little too wild or just in the wrong place at the wrong time? For a detailed breakdown, let's turn it over to Tony Dunst in this week's edition of The Raw Deal, brought to you by Rise.
Let's take a look back at the brief television career of Darryll Fish. Poor Darryll. He's such a nice boy in real life, and he's just made his first WPT final table, and now many people watching will likely think he foolishly donked off his chips in 3 hands. The thing about poker is that we can run bad in more ways than one, some more readily apparent than others. Oh, Darryll, let's break you down. I think the 7-deuce hand is a pretty attractive spot for a bluff, since it's doubtful anyone behind Darryll is going to be going nuts within the first few hands of the final table, and Vivek is going to be raising that spot a ton. Darryll likely believes that Vivek will attack the big blind of the least experienced player at the table, Amir Lehavot, with a pretty wide range of hands from the cutoff. Darryll is in position and can re-raise without anyone behind him having a stack that's easy to move in with. So he takes a shot at bluffing Vivek out, but unfortunately gets caught when Amir wakes up with the big hand. I'm not digging the Queen 7 bluff. Vivek is aware that Darryll likes to 3-bet plenty, and across the table, Steve Gross is currently sitting on just $510,000 in chips. This means he is likely to double up or go out in the very near future. There's a $70,000 real money jump between 5th and 6th, and Vivek knows that Darryll is not in the position to be calling off his stack in a marginal situation while Steve is still so short. This puts someone with a lot more chips and an aggressive playing style like Vivek in a great spot to put the pressure back on Darryll with a 4-bet, whether he has the hand or not.
All in. One game. Nice hand.
By the time his elimination hand rolls around, Darryll is down to only 20 big blinds and takes a shot moving in over the top of Carlos Mortensen.
All in. I call.
I think the Queen 10 suited shove over a smart, aggressive player like Carlos is sensible, and most of the time, I assume I'll suck out when called with that hand anyway. I mean, Queen 10 suited? That's almost Jack 10 suited in sucking out potential. I think saying Darryll foolishly bluffed off his stack is kind of results-oriented, but it's true that he didn't have to take those risks. Oh well, Darryll. Perhaps next time. At least no one can say you don't have guts.
Well, we know young guns like to stay aggressive, but in poker, if you get called every time you bluff, you're bluffing too much, and if you never get called, you're not bluffing enough. As I said earlier, sometimes you've got to have patience in poker, and obviously, Darryll lacked it tonight.
All right, back to the felt we go. Greg Brooks now with a pair of 8s.
Well, he has showed he's not afraid to play, that's for sure. Here he's got a hand.
Brooks has made it 135, but Amir right behind him with an ace-8.
Now, the ace-8's just a marginal hand here. But when you're seeing the guy sitting on your right continue to raise time and time again, so you know how aggressive a guy's playing, and sometimes you do just come over the top with a weak ace in that spot.
And that's what Amir has done. Makes it 325,000 to go. Folded around, back on Greg Brooks. And he has called it with the 8s.
Well, it's ace-jack 3.
And this is beautiful for Amir. He hits his aces. And it's on Greg. He's going to check.
You re-raise with an ace-8, you flop an ace. Certainly you're going to fire at the pot, but no. Amir checks it, very puzzled by that check. And now an 8 comes off. This gives Greg 3 8s, and his opponent has aces and 8s.
Just a disaster there for Amir.
Well, this is trouble with a capital T for Amir here. I think he was slow playing his aces on the flop. Now he's got aces and 8s, and he is going to be heading toward Whitewater very shortly.
Well, Greg Brooks looking over at him like death warmed over. Methodical, robotic Greg Brooks. Hitting the proper card on 4th Street. And he's going to make his bet. 560,000 with a 3 of a kind. Amir probably thinks he's out in front.
Well, I'm shocked that Amir didn't raise it here, Vince. I mean, my goodness, he didn't bet with 2 aces on the flop. He doesn't raise with aces and 8s on the turn. Now a 3 comes off. So if you've got aces and eights, that 3 is not really going to scare you. You're not going to think a pre-flop raiser has a 3 in his hand.
No. And there's Amir sitting duck. Greg Brooks taking his time with his full house. He's trying to figure out exactly how much he can extract from Amir. 1.7 and change.
I call.
Oh boy, Amir has made the call.
Eight's full. Yeah, I suck one.
Well, certainly you're going to make the call with aces and eights here. Almost surprised he didn't raise it all in there, but Greg Brooks winning a nice pot there.
Greg's parents sporting the patriotic look, rooting on their son. And that is absolute devastation for Amir. He is stinging right there. Stay with us. We're coming back with more action from the WPT.
Welcome back to LA and the World Poker Tour.
Welcome back to the LA Poker Classic with the Royal Flush Girls. They're at every WPT event, along with Kimberly Lansing, Mike Sexton, and myself.
There you see the Season 9 Player of the Year standings. Legends of Poker champion Andy Frankenberger still in the lead, but with 4 events remaining, the race is far from over.
And as you can see, Greg Brooks is our chip leader.
Yep, this 23-year-old from Wyckoff, New Jersey, well out in front right now with a great opportunity to take down his first WPT title, but it's not going to be easy. These are some tough players sitting in front of him.
Okay, we have a couple folds surrounding Steve Gross on the short stack. He's got Jack 10 of spades. Is he going to fire? Yes, he is. He's gone all in.
Well, he's moved all in on the button. Carlos goes out.
Only one to beat is Vivek, and he's going to make the call with ace high, and Vivek's out in front of his hand. Ouch. We got ace 3 up against Jack 10.
Can Steve survive yet again?
Here comes the flop.
Well, the flop comes king, king 9. Now, this gives Steve a straight draw, so he could take the lead with a 10 or a jack. He'll make the nuts if a queen comes off.
Yep, he's getting some outs as his dad roots him on. Steve Gross. Oh, he gets a spade there. He's 4 flushing.
Come on, dude. You're the.
So Steve can now win the pot with a queen, a jack, a 10, or a spade. Must have one of those cards, but he's got a lot of outs. 4 clubs on the river. So that's going to do it for Steve Gross, the 25-year-old from Marlboro, New Jersey, out tonight in 5th place.
Yeah. Marlboro Kid has to say goodnight, picks up $304,000, and we are down to 4 players at the LAPC.
And with that, we've reached the halfway point in our coverage of the LA Poker Classic. Mike, what do you make of what we've seen so far?
Kimberly, we've seen phenomenal poker tonight. We've seen 2 bets, 3 bets, 4 bets, check raises with no hands, fighting for pots, float plays. We've seen the works here tonight, but so far, the class of the table has been 23-year-old Greg Brooks in his first ever WPT final table. He doubled up through Vivek Rajkumar with aces versus queens in a huge hand early on at this final table, and he has not looked back since. He's been pushing this table around, including the great Carlos Mortensen, who Greg has simply outplayed on occasion. Greg is dabbing it right now, and in my mind, he's definitely the man to beat.
And Vince, how do you see this playing out?
Well, Kimberly, Greg Brooks has been a monster here tonight. He is Mr. American Gothic. He has been pulling out the pitchfork and jamming his opponents.
I have eight's full.
Eight's full.
As we saw him doing a huge hand with Amir Lehavot. Now, Greg has the chip lead, but don't forget, it was 3-time WPT champ Carlos Mortensen who knocked out the young online pro Darryll Fish, and WPT champ Vivek Rajkumar, who busted the online legend Steve Gross. Now, if Greg Brooks can capture this title tonight, well, hats off to him. Anything can happen, but this has the makings of a great finish, believe me.
Thank you, gentlemen. One of these players will become a WPT Poker Made millionaire and capture a WPT title right here at the Commerce Casino. Please join us next time for the WPT's continuing coverage of the LA Poker Classic, brought to you by ClubWPT.com. Until then, for Mike Sexton, Vince Van Patten, Tony Dunst, the Royal Flush Girls, and the entire WPT team, I'm Kimberly Lansing saying thanks for watching. Good night.
The World Poker Tour is brought to you by ClubWPT.com. Never lose a dime playing poker, guaranteed.
Los Angeles tonight, one player will win over $1.6 million and join Phil Ivey, Antonio Esfandiari, and Michael the Grinder Mizrachi as champion of one of the world's elite tournaments. The conclusion of the LA Poker Classic starts now, only on the WPT.
Well, the crowd all standing. He is circling the drain. They are going bare knuckles in the center of the ring.
He needs the extreme miracle.
Unbelievable.
681 players entered the LA Poker Classic, generating the largest prize pool of Season 9, over $6.5 million. And as with any tournament held at the Commerce Casino, the field was stacked with the biggest names in poker. 4 are left, but only one of them can win the title and take home over $1.6 million. Carlos the Matador Mortensen, already the most successful player in WPT history, is in the hunt for an unprecedented 4th title. WPT champ Vivek Rajkumar is going for his 2nd title and over $3.3 million in career WPT earnings. But so far at this final table, it has been young Gregory Brooks in his first WPT event ever, who has dominated the action. Right now, let's turn it over to Mike and Vince to get us up to speed.
Well, Kimberly, Greg Brooks is the monster at the table. He's 23 years old. He has been pushing this table around ever since he doubled up through Vivek Rajkumar with aces versus queens right at the start of the final. Now, since then, he has been playing fearless poker. He's been doing it to the likes of the great Carlos Mortensen, getting the Matador to lay down hands, believe it or not. But can he come from out of nowhere to take down the $1.6 million and the title? I think he can. He has impressed me here tonight.
And Mike, what can Carlos and Vivek do to get back in this game?
Well, Greg has been playing good and running good here tonight, no doubt. But ironically, it was Carlos that knocked out Darryll Fish early on, and Vivek who busted online legend Steve Gross. Now, if Carlos can double up one time through Greg Brooks, well, hold on, because Carlos Mortensen does not get this close to a WPT title and go home empty-handed.
All it takes is a double up. All right, thanks, guys. Let's get back down to the felt.
Okay, as you can see, Gregory Brooks, first time ever at a WPT tournament. He's our chip leader with over $9 million in chips. Our own sideline reporter, Matt Savage, is also the LAPC tournament director, so we'll be seeing a lot of him tonight.
So here we go.
And he's at 10,000 blinds of 40 and 80. Greg folding, and now Amir, the former electrical engineer. He's got a king-queen with the button.
He's certainly going to raise on the button with this hand. Amir does that.
Yeah, makes it 175,000. Carlos out, but look at this. Vivek with the queens, the ladies. What a time to get them.
Vivek slow playing the queens. I'm not normally a big fan of this, because if an ace or king comes up, it might freeze you, but it doesn't as Jack high comes up. So Vivek checks again. Amir's got the gut shot straight draw with the 2 overcards. Going to make the continuation bet here.
It looks like 235,000.
I can't imagine Vivek won't just set him all in here with the overpair. And that's what he's doing.
Always going to put the pressure on Amir.
Well, I think I'm pot committed.
You heard it, folks. He thinks he's pot committed, and he's going to put his chips in.
Well, Amir majored in electrical engineering from the University of Texas. He's been running a poker training site the last 3 years. And right now, he's got to run a luck site as well if he wants to stay alive here. Needs to catch a king or a 10.
Here comes the turn.
Doesn't happen as a 4 comes off. So the electrical engineer could get short-circuited out of here in 4th place unless he gets very lucky on the river and catches a king or a 10.
Well, Vivek's parents on the rails, sweating their boy. Down to the river we go. Can Amir get lucky? Turn and turn. It's not good for Amir. It's a 3 of diamonds.
So that's going to do it for Amir Lehavot. The 35-year-old from Weston, Florida, is going to be out in 4th place.
Good game. Thank you.
Yeah. $421,000 richer. Never got it rolling today, but he's one happy guy. Now he's talking to our sideline reporter, Matt Savage.
Talk about your experience a little bit.
It was a great experience. I mean, it's a very big cash for me, and I've been good the whole tournament up until, you know, the final table. So it's been great.
Congratulations, Amir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Amir is out in 4th place. The remaining 3 will continue the fight for the title as WPT's coverage of the LA Poker Classic, brought to you by ClubWPT.com, continues right after this.
Yummy.
Oh my God, he's new to me.
Scared the hell out of everybody.
Oh, look what the cat dragged in.
Wow, life is good. Look at this. Welcome back to the World Poker Tour.
Oh, Helmy was popping up everywhere, Mike.
Well, he pops up everywhere but the winner's circle out here on the World Poker Tour, and he's trying to get there.
Oh, boy. The Royal Flush Girls, brought to you by prestigious models. They're at every WPT event, along with Kimberly Lansing, Mike Sexton, and myself. All right, to the table we go. Vivek Rajkumar, WPT champion. He's first to act. He's got a queen 3.
Good enough for him to raise it. Makes it $200,000 to go.
Into Greg Brooks. He is a queen 4. Our chip leader at this point. Very aggressive player. In a small blind. And he's gonna make it 6-10, Mike.
He just has tremendous radar for reading Vivek when he's got a weak hand.
Carlos out, and Vivek.
Look, when you get re-raised and you're looking down at a queen 3, you just got to give it up. Greg Brooks taking down the pot and increasing his chip stack.
I'm sitting here with Eric Lindgren. Let's get right into it. Your buddy Carlos Mortensen has a lot of pressure, I would say, tonight.
He's just so focused, and he loves poker so much, and he wants to be the best, and that's what he's trying to do out there tonight.
You know, I've talked to a lot of people out there in the business who try to assess his game, and no one really can.
Right.
What's his strategy?
He's just awesome at reading people. He just knows what you're going to do, so he can relate that and figure out what you have a lot better than others can. So it's a little bit mathematical, but he reads people so well.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Let's get back to the game.
Well, Carlos Mortensen going for his 4th WPT title tonight. Gus Hansen won 3 WPT titles in his next 4 attempts at trying to capture that 4th. He failed. Can Carlos win 4 in 5 attempts? We shall see.
Well, it's on Carlos Mortensen. The Spaniard this time with a queen 4 of diamonds and the button.
And the sunglasses.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh, snap, son.
And he's going to raise, making it $250,000. Vivek out. And now our chip leader is going to peek down at a mid-pair, pair of 7s.
He's got the kind of hand that normally you just come right over the top of a guy that raises on the button in a 3-handed game.
Yeah, apply the pressure.
We've seen him raise with hands way worse than this so far tonight.
I feel like you should be riding a bicycle somewhere, motorcycle, like a Harley.
Well, he probably doesn't know it, but that's Carlos's hobby, is riding motorcycles.
The glass has kind of softened Greg up. He does not raise, and a flop comes up at king 10-4. Carlos gets a little piece of that pair of 4s, but that's about it. Greg is going to check his 7s.
Carlos is going to bet bottom pair here.
Yep, $350,000 with just 4s.
Well, here's the problem when you don't re-raise with a mid pair. When overcards come out there and you checking your opponent bets, what do you do now